So, Alex, thank you for agreeing to talk to me. This is your studios. This is your company. This is where you operate out of. I'm new here today, but I just wanted to talk to you because I feel like everybody watches you a lot. Everyone sees you a lot. Everyone knows the name Alex Jones. But for people that don't, know who you are, but maybe just know the name Alex Jones or Alex Jones Infowars, I'm kind of interested for people to meet you away from the screen, away from doing what you do, away from, many people would say that you and I alike just kind of shout and rant. And away from that, there's a whole different side to this place. So tell me right now at Infowars, how many platforms have you been banned from? How many people have taken away your right to be heard?
It's over 100, and that's what's really concerning, not for me, but for everybody, is that there have been concerted cartels, and they brag how they've worked in concert, even go after the software that we license to even run websites. And so we've just been basically eradicated, and they've admitted it's a test case for deplatforming other political prisoners in the future.
And if you take us backwards, just imagine we're all ignorant. I'm pretty ignorant. If you go from the big guys back to the more detailed levels, so YouTube took you away, Facebook removed you.
Yes.
Twitter.
Yes.
And then we keep going back.
Spotify, Apple, where we had over 20 million subscribers, you name it. And it's worse than that. Google and Alphabet, its parent company, only puts the negative search results and lies about me. So that's the next level. It's not just, a private company took you off. They're working in concert. They're working as cartels. They brag they are. And they're gaming all the search results to only put out lies about me. And now I can't respond on any of these platforms to people. So it's basically like I'm chained up. I have a gag in my mouth, and they're just stabbing me.
Just hitting you. And then keep going backwards now, because as I walk in here to this studio, and let me tell people at home, this is a significant operation. I've been in a lot of studios, and a lot of studios, you walk off the pavement, you're in the studio, and there's two guys with a camera, and that's the total operation. That's how many of us work, actually. This is a significant operation. There are many and multiple studios here. There are a huge number of people that work for you. I don't know whether you like to disclose how many people work here or whether you keep that secret.
Well, we have everything from the janitors to legal to the whole thing. It's like 100 people.
It's 100 and something people that work here for you. That's striking, Alex, because there is something about the fact that the thing that people don't talk about is you, the businessman, you're employing over 100 people. Right, so people think they're going after you, but when they go then and they're now taking away your payment system as well, is that correct?
They've taken 6 of the 5.
No, how many are there total?
Well, there were 6. I got some backups, but
there were six payment platforms,
and they've taken 5.
They've taken 5 of the 6.
That's a whole other story. I learned, we're going to breaking this soon. There is not a credit rating system. I have perfect credit, and then with banks I had perfect credit. And I've never borrowed money, but they have a rating system that's secret. They went in and put an Interpol sign on that I'm an international terrorist, money launderer, and criminal. And so that's what's now on the bank level that under InfraGard and national security. And they're planning to roll that out against other conservatives where they put a terror mark on you. You're not allowed to see it. I was told this by high-level bankers and have confirmed it. We're going to have to sue to get the documents. We got them, but we don't want to hurt who gave them to us because,
yes.
But this is going to be a major scandal when this comes out very, very soon.
But for them to take 5 out of 6 payment platforms away from you, and people are able to pay and support Infowars by buying products, correct? At your store,
yes.
Infowars store. What's the link to the Infowars store?
Infowarsstore.com.
Infowarsstore.com. That's how you're supported, isn't that correct?
Yes. So it's not just they're taking us off the internet. They're then trying to shut us down, and they're now doing it to Jihad Watch and other groups as well. They're taking their credit card processing away. What I'm saying is it's going to break very, very soon. I'm telling you about it first. I mentioned it briefly last week. They are using Interpol, it was run by the Communist Chinese until a month ago, the head of it, to literally go in secretly. You don't know, like a no-fly list. They're letting jihadis back into England, Europe. I have no criminal record. I have perfect credit. I don't even have loans. I mean, I do everything but I have perfect banking credit, the best you can get, like flawless. And no chargebacks, nothing. I just eat those. And they're literally have me secretly listed as basically a terrorist.
I hear that. But my point is, I hear what you're saying. And this is where I think there's this disconnect. People think they're getting at you, right?
Yes.
Whoever, they're taking away the credit ratings. 5 out of 6 of your payment providers have been taken away from you. People think they're getting Alex Jones. But behind Alex Jones are 100 and something people that work here. Good people. People with.
But listen, the left loves it. They had to teach America a lesson, so they shipped their jobs to China. They shipped the UK jobs to India and China on purpose to teach the West not to be uppity. And it wasn't wealth redistribution. It was the ultra rich wanting to break the West that was always raising standard of living. And so to the left hearing this, they're like, good, they shouldn't work there. It's the leftists are a religion of crushing humanity.
But you have people that worked here. I've been speaking to them in the corridors because I'm so taken by this size of the operation, the humans behind you, even if people can't see as human, there's just real regular people.
Yes, these are real people that have been targeted, just like everybody else's free speech 3 months after I got banned is now being targeted. They're making their move, and it's going to go down right down to the individual person. And as people understand, the globalists and the control corporate media ignored us. They knew that we'd reached, let's not exaggerate over the years, 7-8 billion views on YouTube with all the different channels and things, similar things on Facebook, other platforms. And they knew that election week 2016, that we had not just hits or people linking, we had on our own platforms 86 to 87 million different IP addresses that watched or listened. So they can't deal with that. So also it's corporate media that's dying. It's Democratic parties and socialists that are falling apart. They're in a perfect storm with big corporations like Apple that has the worst slave factories in China to shut us down. And they did it because most talk show hosts that are on a couple hundred radio stations and who are on a couple hundred TV stations and who are really big on the internet, they have a private jet. They've got a 20-bedroom mansion. They've got 5 mistresses. I don't have any of that. I wanted to build this. And so what you see is an experiment, taking the money that a big talk show host would make, who normally have some yacht, smoking cigars. I'm not against that. I'm a free market guy. I'll take a 25-foot boat and have fun with my family. I took the money instead of a plane and a yacht. We built this.
You put all the money, and this doesn't come from you, actually. I'm hearing you.
It's our audience.
No. Listen, Alex Jones, this doesn't come from you. I came here and your staff members who have no reason to say nice things about you at all. In fact, commonplace in workplaces, people will say derogatory things about the people they work for. That's my truth. Here, every single person I've spoken to has talked about how you're going to need to listen to this and say nothing, okay? Keep your mouth shut for 1 minute. Everybody I've spoken to here in the corridors, for no reason to speak to me, has told me that you're a great guy to work for. They've told me some of them have been here nearly 10 years because you're a great guy to work for. And they're not old people, these people. And I'm trying to say this because an outside audience might think all the people working here are over 65 or my age because we're all sad geriatric conservatives who are mad and wear tinfoil. There's very, very young, attractive people out there. And they all say they're passionate about what they do. They're passionate about working here because you are such a good leader of this business. And all you do is plow your money back into this business. You don't take a penny really from this business. You plow it all back in. This is people talking about you that work for you, that've worked for you for 10 years, Alex.
Well, to be clear, compared to a talk show host as big as ours, I probably have 5% of the lifestyle of those guys. But again, my goal is to change the world so our children have a big future. So I pretty much have to plow the money back in to try to fight as hard as we can. And we've been expecting these attacks. And the crew's great. I get stressed out, especially before the election, because I felt like we had to win. And so I can be a jerk to them too, but they know that it's not to do with them. They see what's going on. The biggest thing about the crew working so hard is they see what we really say, and then they see what mainstream media says about us. And so they put out the video, and then they hear that I edited it, and so they are Infowars. They're being lied about. And so it's not even loyalty to me; it's loyalty to the truth.
Yes, but they also...
But they are awesome. What I'm saying is,
they love
once
you.
I love them too, but once you've been in the middle of this and persecuted, then you understand how dangerous it is. Once you've actually, you've been through it, they finance plays about you, how they want to murder you. These are horrible people.
But the people that are closest to you here really love you. There's 100 and so people here. There's many small businesses have always been the core of our economy in the UK. This is a major business. And every day you come to work, you are supporting the livelihood of 100 plus other people, Alex. When you gather your staff together, how do you manage to keep them to keep the faith? When they have their wives or their partners or their children at home or a mortgage to pay and they see your payment platforms being taken away, your ability to reach and share your audience being taken away, how do you give them courage? How do you keep them from going, oh, well, maybe I should go and get a different job. Maybe I should go and work somewhere else. Why do they stay with you? How have you got people? How have you got this operation still running? How do you do it?
Well, we knew this was coming for a while, so I saved some money. And I've just been honest with people. I mean, right now, they had already shadow banned us all over. And so we were already having trouble expanding like I wanted to do. And then when they banned us, there was, a lot of people came back to the show that had forgotten about it. And so, more money came in for a while. And then it slowed down again. But again, we can do all sorts of things to raise the capital we need to. It just takes time away from being on the air. And so the crew gets that. They are at the ground level. They see how it all works. And for them, it really is ideological. And so I don't have to really give them pep talks or anything. In fact, the opposite. Sometimes, I'm a jerk, not to them. I just kind of, get angry and get stressed out because I hate the globalists so much. But I think the crew's loyal because they're good people. They're smart people. They're behind the scenes and they understand the mission. They understand what's happening to America and what's happening to the world. And they see it. So they're immersed in the reality of not some talking point that I bring in. There's really not even any talking points. We're like, look at what's going on. And we don't really control the writers or the reporters or anybody. We just go out and try to tell the truth.
Where's there been a moment where you felt like, and I've had the moment where I've gone, do you know what? Sod this, sod all of this. I am going to go to the countryside and I'm going to go and keep chickens. I've always said, I'll keep chickens. I'm not actually terrified of actually being a chicken farmer one day.
It's fun to grab.
Has there been a time when you've gone, do you know what? Sod all this. This is beyond what any one man can handle, the threats on you, the threats to your business, the pressure of employing a vast team of people that's underestimated wildly. Is there times and in your private life where you've just gone, do you know what? I'd quite like to just lie down and sleep for the longest time, or I'd like to just go and keep cattle?
That certainly does happen. But then I see how gleeful the Soros and the globalists are and the bad things they're doing. And I know how disingenuous they are. And it would be like torture to give into them. Really where I get frustrated is I'll see all this incredible stuff they're doing and I get exhausted and I don't feel like I'm doing a good job responding to it, or it's 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. And I feel guilty because I'm not home with my children sometimes. And then I'm already exhausted. So what's the point of being here? I mean, I really think there is a self-loathing in that people think, oh, you're doing a great job. But when you realize these people are bearing down on you, there's a real frustration that I can't find the lever to pull to get people to wake up out there. This is so obvious what's going on. We're being conquered. We're being enslaved by the worst people. And then, so I don't feel bad being demonized and attacked. We're in a war. I just feel bad that we're not kicking their ass better.
And how do you stop? How do you turn off? Where's the you? So there's a me that puts on my pajamas, puts on my slippers, puts my feet up and stops. You don't stop. I get the impression you keep running. I almost think you're as if you stopped, you would sort of fall off the edge.
Well, there's a phenomenon with that where executives and people that have worked long, as soon as they retire, they die a month later.
Yeah.
I do think it's like a perpetual motion machine where I've got to keep going.
Yes.
Because now I'm so exhausted.
Yes.
That if I slow down, then I feel like I'm dying and, all of a sudden get sick. You'll get the flu. I never get sick. I never, but I dream about this stuff. I eat, drink, and sleep, and I spend a lot of time with my children. I've done a better job in the last few years. I want to pick my daughter up, yes, early right now. Well, no, but I've got more time. I've got time.
Sure. No, I know, but
my point is that it is true that in a war, as long as you're going 110%, you got plenty of energy. But if you start slowing down, then you realize what the toll it's taking on you.
And a lot of my, military friends talk about the peace they had in war. So when they were at war, when they were fighting, when they were on the ground, when they were in the middle of being on deployment, that was the most peaceful time for them because that's the life they understand. They understand being at war and in the heat of it. It's when they come home and relax that they actually go to pieces because life makes no sense. And I think there's something in that with you as well. You keep going.
I think the brain gets geared to it. And so basically you're running on that mission and once you get in that position, if you believe in what you're doing, your brain's like, get back out there because the war's still going on. Mm. So beyond not having the order to your life, it's almost like you're guilty. Delep is guilty at the bottom of the barrel about supposedly being white or being wealthy. That's all just something where they guilt people who they know have a conscience, and the left is just a bunch of sociopaths. at the mid-levels and the top. But it is true that then for libertarians, conservatives, Christians, nationalists, people that really do care, that then it feels really, really guilty. Because I'd love to take a month off and go to Hawaii. I'd love to do a million things. I'd love to go climb the Matterhorn. I'd love to go see these places and do these things. And there's that selfishness in me that wants to do that. But then I realized, but so many of these fights in history are so close. So if I don't give 110%, then they may win.
That was what was going to be my next question, actually. It was about what would happen if you, because in July this year, I stopped for a month. I stopped completely. What would happen if you stopped for a month?
Well, what happened for you? I bet it was good for you.
It was really good, actually.
I need to do it. I need to put the cell phone away.
It took more discipline to stop than it did to relentlessly keep going, feeling exhausted, but knowing that if I didn't stop, I would fall off the end of the treadmill type thing.
And I bet you came back rejuvenated and did a better job.
And I had a fresh thought on things a little bit.
No, I need to take off a full month.
Maybe that's the challenge to Infowars.
I'm going to take off the week of Thanksgiving next week.
Okay.
And I've got to hide the phone, and I've got to hide the computers.
Give it to someone else. Yeah. But do you hear that you are really loved by the people that work for you? Do you hear that?
It means a lot to me. It makes me feel guilty again because I'm a jerk sometimes.
It's okay to be a jerk. People here know who you are truly, and they forgive things because they really love working for you.
Well, it's a different angle, and it's certainly true that I have a wonderful crew, and they do a really, really good job, and they're the whole engine. That's why we're trying to build more shows and other things to try to get more of these great people on air. Like take Paul Watson. I'm very proud that you notice he had a little website and was basically transcribing some of my better breakdowns. And I hired him 16 years ago, and I told him like 7 years ago, I said, you have an ultimatum. I'm going to cut your pay in half, or I'm going to double your pay. You're going to go on YouTube. You're going to go on Facebook. You're going to go on Twitter. You're going to be a personality. And now he's done a great job. And now you're challenging him. Paul, get out from behind the desk.
I can't nag him all the time. I'm like some nagging old mother. Now,
but it is fun for me. Go ahead and tell him. No, right there to Paul. What are you supposed to do?
Get out from your mother's spare bedroom. No, listen, one last thing, Alex. When people hurt you, I want them to know they're also hurting 100 and something other people here who have families, who have homes, and they may rejoice in that. But unlike other places I go, where people will absolutely criticize their boss, they'll absolutely say he's an absolute asshole, really. You speak to makeup or the people that work really hard, they'll always say, actually, he's an asshole. People here don't say that, Alex. They say that you are the real deal, you're authentically you, and they're here because they believe in you. Well, and I think you need to hear that.
Well, it means a lot to me because that's the worst part about this is I know I'm for real and I'm not perfect and I've made mistakes, but they build straw men out of people and then they demonize you. And I can take that, but then it ends up hurting a whole movement and the enemy knows exactly what they're doing. And if people would just get more sophisticated, understand it. And that's why we hire people if they just have the skills here and if they seem nice, even if they're, been kind of liberals. And we find that usually they become the most awake very, very quickly that they were real liberals, but they see how the establishment aren't liberals. They're leftist. And there's a PragerU breakdown of that, a leftist versus a liberal. I mean, the founding fathers of America were classical liberals. You could say people in Magna Carta were classical liberals. They were more freedom, not less, decentralization. And so that's a really exciting thing. And the crew means a lot to me.
I know. And I think that's the thing I would like to say. And that's the reason I wanted to talk to you here. And thank you for letting me talk in your studio and in your
you
time,
bet.
Is I think if people gave you a chance again, so don't know the Alex Jones that you've been told to know. Don't, like people when they meet me, they think I'm really little because I'm supposed to be a monster and monsters are supposed to be really big, like because monsters are huge. And people always say, but Katie, you're really little. And that's the thing. People have built Alex Jones up to be this something that actually is just a really good businessman who has a really loyal team of people who say really, really emotionally strong things about you when you're not even in the room. And I would like people just to give that Alex Jones a chance and just listen to some of your stuff with fresh ears.
Well, sure. Half the time, like you were kind of alluding to, half the time I'm so exhausted that's why I'm so manic is that you've got to get cranked up to do it.
Yes, because it's an energy level that you have to kind of dig really hard for. Like you're almost mining for the energy to keep going at this
rate. And when you get that energy, it's frantic. I mean, it's a desperate energy because, like you say, you're a woman in the UK, a smart lady who went into media and then saw your country under attack and saw fraud and saw sex slavery and saw all this and this political takeover, and the men wouldn't stand up, so you stood up. So they built you this big, mean monster and dangerous and evil, and she needs to die. And you're really just a sweet, loving, smart person who's standing up because it's the right thing to do. They dehumanize us. And I'm just concerned for my children because let me ask you this. Where do you think it all ends? Because at a certain point, I'm not a violent person. They're getting more and more violent. But at a certain point, if you're occupied by Hitler and they keep saying we're violent and then they keep pushing, it's just they're really going down an insane road. They're just power mad. I don't understand how the leftists and how the globalists are just so bad.
I get that. But my challenge to you, and I'll let you go now because you need to pick up your daughter and we're going to have you pick her up on time because that's what you committed to, is my challenge to you is to take a month off and to come back, because the Alex Jones that I see by listening to your team, your loyal staff who've worked for you longer than I've ever had anyone work for me, is a calm and quiet and kind person who just is so passionate about the country you want to save. And I think that's the person that can really connect with a massive audience, that Alex Jones, because you have such integrity.
Well, you're very, very sweet, Katie, and we really appreciate the work you bring to the mind. Because I love the crew, and I'm not mean all the time, but I kind of get OCD about we got to have this, we got to do that, we got to fight harder, and I just turn into a crazy maniac. I kind of go in cycles. I've been a lot worse lately because of the election, but now I've been better since the weight is off. And I think, how do you think in closing? The school's only 20 minutes away, so I got 5 more minutes. How do you think in closing, Katie, this whole election is going to go? Is they're openly stealing it? But that will also wake people up. And now Trump's taking the gloves off. Bottom line, even if you're a spectator, this is an incredible time to be alive. All over the world, nationalists and patriots are getting elected. Marine Le Pen is now racing into the lead in France. We're seeing bizarre political seppuku by Macron saying that...
Alex, you're really rubbish at talking about yourself. And you're really rubbish at being told that you're a really nice person. And you're really rubbish at listening to someone tell you that you're a good soul and that you're fighting on the side of good.
Well, you're
you
very,
may
very
try
sweet.
And change that round, but I'm going to make sure you heard that today. So, Alex Jones, thank you very much for your time.
Well, Katie, thank you so much. Infowars.com, newswars.com. Tomorrow's, okay, there you go. You're so funny.
Thank you.
Infowars, tomorrow's news today.